Swindon Town Football Club is a professional football club in Swindon, Wiltshire, England. Founded as Swindon AFC in 1879, they became Spartans in 1880 and Swindon Town in 1883. The team compete in League One, the third tier of the English Football League system. The club's home ground, where it has played since 1896, is the 15,728 capacity county ground. The club went professional in 1894 and entered the Football League in 1920. It enjoyed a period of success between 1968 to 70, winning the 1969 League Cup final and securing promotion to the second division, led by the club's talisman winger Don Rogers, whom the South Stand has been named after since the 2007-08 season. The club's two biggest victories were 10-2 over Norwich City on the 5th of September 1908 and 10-1 over Farnham United Breeze FC in 1925-26, while the heaviest defeat was 1-10 against Manchester City in 1930. Swindon Town won promotion to the Premier League in the 1992-93 season, the only time the club has played in the top level of English football. History. Early history. Swindon Town Football Club was founded by Reverend William Pitt of Linnington in 1879. The team turned professional in 1894 and joined the Southern League, which was founded in the same year. During this period, Septimus Atterbury played for the club. Swindon reached the FA Cup semi-finals for the first time in the 1909-10 season, losing to eventual winners Newcastle United. Barnsley and Swindon were invited to compete for the Dubonnet Cup in 1910 at the Parc des Princes Stadium in Paris. The result was a 2-1 victory for Swindon, with Harold Fleming scoring both of the club's goals. The following season, 1910-11, Swindon Town won the Southern League Championship, earning them a Charity Shield match with the Football League champions Manchester United. This, the highest scoring Charity Shield game to date, was played on the 25th of September 1911 at Stamford Bridge, with Manchester United winning 8-4. Some of the proceeds of this game were later donated to the survivors of the Titanic. In 1912, Swindon Town reached the semi-finals of the FA Cup for a second time in 3 years, losing to Barnsley after a replay 1-0. Swindon's exploits at this time owed a lot to the skillful forward H.J. Fleming, who was capped by England 11 times between 1909 and 1914, despite playing outside the Football League. Fleming remained with Swindon throughout the playing career spanning 1907 and 1924 and went on to live in the town for his entire life. Swindon entered the Football League in 1920 as a founding member of Division 3 and defeated Luton Town 9-1 in the first game of the season. This result stands as a record for the club in league matches. After the outbreak of World War II, the War Department took over the stadium in 1940, where for a while POWs were housed in huts placed on the pitch. For this, the club received compensation of £4,570 in 1945. World War II affected Swindon Town more than most other football clubs, and the club was almost disbanded. The club needed a large amount of time to recover, and for this reason it failed to make any real impression in the league and would not climb into the second division until 1963, when they finished runners-up to Northampton Town. The club was relegated back into Division 3 in 1965, but it was about to create a sensation. 1969-90. In 1969, Swindon beat Arsenal 3-1 to win the League Cup for the only time in the club's history. As winners of the League Cup, Swindon were assured of a place in the first European competition, the Intercities Fairs Cup. However, the Football Association had previously agreed to inclusion criteria with the organisers which mandated that only League Cup winners from Division 1 would be able to take part. As the team were not eligible, the short-lived Anglo-Italian competitions were created to give teams from lower divisions experience in Europe. The first of these, the 1969 Anglo-Italian League Cup, was contested over 2 legs against Coppa Italia winners AS Roma. Swindon won 5-2, with the scorer of 2 goals in the League Cup final, Don Rogers, scoring once, a new acquisition Arthur Horsfield acquiring his first hat-trick for the club. The team then went on to win the 1970 Anglo-Italian Cup competition in a tournament beset by hooliganism. The final against SC Napoli was abandoned after 79 minutes following pitch invasions and a missile barrage, with tear gas being employed to allow the teams to return to the dressing room. Following management changes, Swindon had a long unsuccessful period culminating in them being relegated in 1982 to the 4th Division, the lowest professional football league at the time. They were eventually promoted as champions in 1986, with the club achieving a Football League record of 102 points, the second club to score over 100 points in a season, York City having totaled 101 2 years earlier. A year later they won the 3rd Division playoffs to achieve a second successive promotion. Promotion campaign manager Lou Macquarie left in 1989 to take charge of West Ham United, with veteran midfielder and former Argentine international Oscar Dials replacing him. In his first season, Swindon were 2nd Division playoff winners, but the club later admitted 36 charges of breaching league rules, 35 due to illegal payments made to players, and were relegated to the 3rd Division, giving Sunderland promotion to the 1st Division and Tranmere Rovers to the 2nd Division. The scandal saw then-chairman Brian Hillier being given a 6-month prison sentence and chief accountant Vince Farrar being put on probation. A later appeal saw Swindon Town being allowed to stay in the 2nd Division. Since 1990, highs and lows. Dials remained in charge until March 1991, when he departed for Newcastle United and was succeeded by new player-manager Glenn Hoddle. Swindon progressed well during the 1991-92 season, Hoddle's first full season as manager, and just missed out on the 2nd Division playoffs, having briefly led the table in the autumn. A year later they beat Leicester City 4-3 in the new Division 1 playoff final to achieve promotion to the Premier League, bringing top division football to the club for the first time. Hoddle moved to Chelsea before the 1993-94 FA Premier League season began, and was replaced by assistant John Gorman. But Swindon never adjusted to the pace of Premier League football. They were relegated after recording only 5 wins and conceding 100 goals, the latter record yet to be broken, and have never returned to the top flight. One of the few successes of the season was a 2-2 draw against champions Manchester United in the league. The following year, Swindon were relegated for the 2nd consecutive time and slipped into Division 2. Gorman had been sacked as manager in November 1994, and although his successor, player-manager Steve McMahon, was unable to avoid relegation, He did take Swindon to the semi-finals of the League Cup. McMahon then succeeded in getting Swindon back into Division 1 on his first attempt, winning the Division 2 championship in 1995-96. McMahon remained as manager until September 1998, when he left by mutual consent after Swindon lost 5 of the 9 opening games of the 1998-99 season. The club then went through 5 managers in 5 years, during which time they were again relegated into Division 2. The highlight of the next few seasons was a 5th-place finish in 2003-04 as financial troubles persisted. A first-round playoff loss to Brighton and Hove Albion on penalties meant Swindon extended their stay in the third tier, now renamed League One. The club has been beset by financial difficulties throughout its recent history, having been placed into administration twice and also twice fought off winding up orders from Her Majesty's Customs and Excise over unpaid tax. The board currently has to make yearly payments of £100,000 to creditors, and only managed to begin the 2006-07 season after sourcing £500,000 to pay for players' wages. In 2006, caretaker manager Ife Onora was unable to save Swindon from relegation to League Two, meaning they became the first ever former Premier League team to be relegated to the lowest Football League division. Dennis Wise agreed to become the new Swindon manager in May 2006 following the relegation, with Gustavo Poyet joining the coaching staff. After a good start to the season, the pair moved to Leeds United in October. Veteran defender Adrian Williams and Barry Hunter took temporary charge until Paul Sturrock was appointed on the 7th of November. Sturrock guided Swindon to promotion back to Football League One in his first season with the club, earning the third automatic promotion place in a 1-1 draw with Walsall in the last game of the 2006-07 season. In 2008, Swindon Town was taken over by a consortium fronted by local businessman Andrew Fitton, with plans to clear all club debts by the end of the 2007-08 season. Paul Sturrock having departed for Plymouth Argyle, the consortium appointed Sturrock recommended Maurice Malpas manager, and Swindon finished the first season back in League One in 13th, helped by 15-goal signing Simon Cox. However, the 2008-09 campaign started badly and Malpas was sacked on the 14th of November 2008, with David Byrne taking over temporarily. Danny Wilson was unveiled as the new manager on the 26th of December 2008. Wilson helped maintain Swindon's League One status and finished in 15th position, though only 4 points from the relegation zone, in his first season in charge. The 2009-10 season would prove a vast improvement, despite the sale of League One top scorer Simon Cox. The club maintained a playoff position going into the new year, and were at one point in second place with automatic promotion in their own hands. However, a slight slip in form towards the end of the season saw Swindon finish 5th, entering the playoffs against Charlton Athletic. Swindon won the town penalties and went on to play in the Football League One playoffs final against Millwall at Wembley Stadium for a place in the Football League Championship. However, they lost 1-0 in what was the first defeat in 4 appearances at Wembley. After losing the final, Swindon lost the top scorer Billy Painter, who joined Leeds United on a free transfer, and sold club captain Gordon Greer. Still, many bookmakers had Swindon as one of the favourites for promotion to the Championship going into the 2010-11 season. Inconsistent form left Swindon in mid-table for much of the season. However, A 4-2 win at Charlton Athletic in January left fans hoping for a late-season surge. Instead, top scorer Charlie Austin was sold to Burnley and the team did not win again for 19 matches. When Danny Wilson resigned on the 2nd of March, Paul Hart was brought in but failed to save the Robins, and on the 25th of April 2011 Swindon were relegated to League Two after losing 3-1 to Sheffield Wednesday. Paul Hart was replaced for the last 2 games of the season by former player and current reserve and youth team coach Paul Bowden. Soon after the season ended, the board revealed that high-profile former player Paolo Di Canio would take his first management position at the club, after losing 7 of his first 13 games in charge. Swindon went on a 15-match unbeaten run which put them into promotion contention by the midpoint of the 2011-12 season. After a defeat on Boxing Day 2011 to Torquay United, Swindon broke a club record by winning 10 consecutive league games, and by March they were well clear of the chasing pack at the top of League Two. They also enjoyed success in both the FA Cup, beating Premiership side Wigan Athletic in the 3rd round before losing to Championship side Leicester City in the 4th round, and the Football League Trophy, reaching the final at Wembley, where they were runners-up to League One side Chesterfield. On the 21st of April 2012, Swindon were guaranteed promotion to League One, despite losing 3-1 away to Gillingham, because fellow promotion chasers Torquay United failed to win at AFC Wimbledon. They guaranteed the championship of League Two on the 28th of April after a 5-0 drubbing of Port Vale at home. On the 18th of February 2013, with Swindon riding high in League One and in contention for a 2nd consecutive promotion, Di Canio announced his resignation, alleging mistreatment by the board of directors, including the sale of Matt Ritchie behind his back, and the financial instability of the club at the time. In his place came Kevin MacDonald, who had previously held caretaker roles at Leicester City and Aston Villa. MacDonald guided Swindon to the League One playoffs. However, they were knocked out after a penalty shootout defeat to Brentford. On the 13th of July 2013, MacDonald left Swindon Town by mutual consent, only 3 weeks before the start of the 2013-14 season and only 5 months after taking the Swindon job. In the 2014-15 season, Swindon reached the League One playoff final where they lost 4-0 to Preston after a season in which they were competing for automatic promotion. They went top of the league after a 3-0 win away to Coventry. However, a 2-0 defeat to Sheffield United was the first of a series of results that saw Swindon's form dip, and a 1-0 defeat to bottom club Yeovil meant that Swindon were consigned to finish in the playoffs. They reached Wembley after a record-breaking 5-5 draw against Sheffield United, the highest-scoring playoff match in history. Crest. Swindon Town have used at least 5 different kit badges since their inception. The original badge depicted a robin inside a shield with the letters system.The in the 4 corners. This changed to the steam train badge, which was a coat of arms for the club based heavily on the coat of arms used by the local council. The steam train badge was in the form of a traditional shield bisected with the club's name, a train, a football and with a robin sitting on top. Beneath the shield was a motto on a scroll, Salubritas et Industria, meaning health and industry. This motto is also that of the town of Swindon itself. During the 1970s the club changed the badge to one referred to as the Saint Arrow or traffic sign badge. This was circular and had the letters S and T interlocked, which both ends of the letter S being made into an arrow. Also shown was a simple football and the club name. Following the 1985-86 season, the steam train badge was reintroduced onto the kits. The crest was restyled and the text, Division 4 Champions 1985-1986, replaced the motto. A diamond-shaped crest for Swindon Town was introduced at the beginning of the 1991-92 season following a series of financial problems for the club. The idea behind the new crest was to give the club a new, fresh image. The travelling football represents the club that is looking to the future with successful progress. The diamond shape clearly has the letter S running through it, while a green section was also introduced to match a new green trim on the team's home shirts. On the 5th of April 2007, the club unveiled plans to change the badge, claiming the diamond badge was correct for the time, but did not represent or show any of the club's heritage or history. Swindon offered fans the chance to vote online for the 3 new choices, which were all similar to the original steam train design, and a 4th option of keeping the 1991 design. On the 23rd of April 2007, it was announced that option 3 of the logo vote was the winner of the poll, winning the vote with 68% in favour. The new badge includes the club name, a robin, a train, the rail industry being an important part of the town's heritage, a football, and reintroduces the town's motto, Salubritas et Industria. It has been in use since the beginning of the 2007-08 season. Colours and kits. Home kit, originally playing in black and white with the addition of blue sash for away games. The club changed to black and red quarters on entry to the Southern League in 1894. The club changed again in 1897 with the Swindon Advertiser, reporting the new colours of the Swindon Town F.C. it to be green shirts with white sleeves. Goodbye to the old well-known red and black, with problems obtaining green dyes. The kit was short-lived and Swindon Town changed the shirts to the more familiar red in 1901. Initially a dark maroon, a lighter shade was chosen for the start of the 1902-03 season and also resulted in the club's nickname, the Robins, appearing in print for the first time in programme notes for the first game. The nickname is a reference to the former name of the European robin, redbreast. Swindon Town have played the home games in variations on the red and white theme since then, wearing a red shirt with white collars and white or red shorts for much of the history, which has led to the team being known as the Red and White Army. For example, the kit worn during the 1985-86 Division 4 Champions season consisted of a red shirt with white pinstripes, white shorts and red socks, and chants of Lou Macri's Red and White Army were heard from the supporters at the final stages of the season. Following the rebranding of the club in 1991, green elements were reintroduced onto the home strip and badge to represent the team's short-lived kit from the turn of the century. These were removed in 2007. Away kit. The club's away kits have only begun to change since the 1990s and the advent of the lucrative replica kit market. Swindon's first away kit consisted of an all-blue strip. This was not used for the club's 1969 League Cup final victory, where they elected to wear an all-white strip. For a period in the 1980s, the club changed their away kit to white shirts and black shorts and introduced a new third kit of yellow shirts and blue shorts. The club alternated between these two schemes as its away kit for the 1980s. When the club rebranded in the 1991 close season, it introduced a new away strip, the white and green potato print shirt with dark blue shorts. This remained in use until its replacement in 1993 with another yellow and blue strip, integrating the new color scheme by adding a green collar. A special third kit was added for the 1996-97 season and was colored petrol green in honor of the then sponsor's Castrol. Swindon wore black and gold striped away shirts for the 2003-04 season with an all-white third kit, following this with variants on the blue theme until returning to all-white in 2007. In 2008-09 they returned to the dark blue away kit that was used previously for the 2006-07 season, but this time they had white shorts instead of a whole dark blue strip. In 2009-10 they returned once again to the all-white kit, but unlike the home kit, which showed 442 on the front, this showed FIFA 10 on the front as a part of sponsorship with each. They also this year had an all-blue third kit which was featured for the FA Cup and also the playoff away game to Charlton. In 2010-11 they had an all-black third kit. The all-black kit became the club's away kit for the 2011-12 season, with an all-white kit as a third kit used for the FA Cup run. This kit caused controversy among some fans, because it had the sponsors the people printed on the shirts. For 2012-13 they have a blue and yellow away kit, again controversial as these are the colours of Swindon's close rivals Oxford United. Shirt sponsors nationwide announced that after the revelation of more financial problems within the club, they were to terminate the sponsorship deal at the end of the 2006-07 season. This also included the cessation of stadium sponsorship. Swindon Town Finance Director Sandy Gray said on the 24th of November 2006, "We are in negotiations with someone already. They are very keen to do a sponsorship deal in the Football League." On the 7th of June 2007 it was announced that Kingswood Construction, a local development company, would undertake a 5-year sponsorship of the club. The £100,000 a year contract included both shirt and stand sponsorship. This contract was terminated on the 17th of March 2008 following Kingswood's financial problems and failure to pay the club, with Swindon Town Chief Executive Nick Watkins commenting, "We had to withdraw from Kingswood because they had not paid the money, and going forward under new ownership we don't want to work in any past uncertainty." In June 2008 it was announced that 442 magazine would be the club's new sponsors after signing a 3-year deal with the club. Stadium. Swindon Town's original pitch was located south of Bath Road, in the region of Bradford Road, adjacent to the Oakus Quarry. After a young spectator fell into the quarry, the team decided to move first to Lansdowne Road and then to a pitch near the Croft, where they were to remain for the next 11 years. Swindon Town have been playing at the county ground since 1896. They played their games on the site of the adjacent cricket pitch, also called the county ground, from 1893 until the ground opened. Thomas Huckle of Varklesbury donated £300 to finance the construction of a stand on what was then known as the Wiltshire County Ground. This investment was enough to begin development of a purpose-built football ground. Since its original construction, the ground has been periodically updated with new features or fittings. A cover on the Shrivenham Road side was erected in 1932, followed by the current roof at the town end. This cost £4,300, which was raised by the Supporters Club, and was opened on the 27th of August 1938 by local MP W. Wakefield. The War Department took over the ground in 1940, where for a while house work were housed in huts placed on the pitch. For this the club received compensation of £4,570 in 1945. The addition of floodlights in 1951 at a cost of £350 gave Swindon the honour of being the first league club to do so. These were first tried out v. Bristol City on the 2nd of April 1951, beating Arsenal by 6 months. These original set of lights were supplemented by lights on both side stand roofs, which were sufficient for the county ground to stage its first floodlit league match on the 29th of February 1956 v. Millwall. The present pylons date from 1960. The ground currently contains elements constructed between 1950 and 1995, with the latest addition being the large sponsored stand on the south side. The county ground is also the only football stadium in the world with a Rolex watch acting as its timekeeper. The clock on the Stratton Bank stand featuring its name was erected to celebrate promotion in 1963. The ground itself is on land owned by Swindon Borough Council, to which the club pays rent. Swindon have in the past considered a move to a club-owned stadium to generate more revenue, but have not had the financial backing to do so. In 2006 a redevelopment campaign for the county ground began, with the club and trustee FC raising a petition to "Save Our Home," urging the Borough Council to facilitate the redevelopment of the stadium and do everything they can to keep the club within the borough, including the proposed upgrading of the adjacent cricket club to county standard and athletic club to Olympic standard.